various role players really taking stock of how they can come through to ensure that there's a little bit of a movement for communities on the ground where issues of infrastructure development is concerned. And one of those role players that we find here is Sanral, and we know very well that they've been in the news lately around the issues of e-tolls here in the Gauteng province. But we saw the Gauteng Premier, Panyaza Lesufi, giving an assurance that there've been a little bit of a move in terms of his commitment to ensure that there's a switch off where that is concerned. Sanral working within the transport space, working within the infrastructure space, and we find them here trying to take stock in terms of the role that they can play in terms of ensuring that there's transformation of the built environment sector. I'm going to bring into the conversation with us this afternoon Mr. Progress Katlego, who's the regional manager here at Sanral, who'll just give us a sense of just your role here as an entity. And we've seen that there have been moves in terms of the work that you've been doing with government over time around infrastructural development. There have been stumbling blocks that have been cited and highlighted there in the main hall, and we see just a lot of work that will need to be done in terms of the private-public partnerships in ensuring that there's clear transformation within this particular sector. But Sanral becomes one of the most important entities, as I just mentioned, the issue of e-tolls. But let's start with you reflecting with us on how important has it been that we find you guys as Sanral here in the past 2 days.
So thank you. Being here has been a pleasure. We have a transformation policy which we approved quite a couple of years ago, which set the motion for what we want to see happening in the built environment. This includes making sure that through our procurement muscle, we procure both goods and services from the people who support the broader objectives of the country, which obviously have to do with transformation. So as Sanral, currently we are managing over 23,000 kilometers. And this, obviously, we have to procure services for consulting engineers, for contractors. And as part of this procurement, we want to drive home the objectives of the country around transformation, and we've been doing that. And you are going to see in all our contracts that we've been putting out into the market, 30% of those are reserved for a lot of the local SMMEs that work there. So we being here is us further emphasizing the need and the drive to ensure that in the built environment, we ensure that there are opportunities for those that were previously disadvantaged and that people are able to participate meaningfully in our contracts. We do not want Sanral to be an enclave for a certain group of contractors or consultants. We want it open to everyone to compete, and we want it integrated. So that is why we are here. So this is, we partner with organizations such as this one and a lot of other organizations in the built environment. We have many MOUs with different organizations who support our broader objectives around transformation.
Have your projects been finding meaning on the ground? We've heard of the stumbling blocks, we've heard of infrastructural challenges on the ground, delays in terms of invoices that are paid up to those that offer services in this particular regard. An honest reflection as well from government, 3 ministers that were here just talking about how they will need to ensure that there is a database that will move things within this sector for those that are part of the built environment.
So that's a very good question. So if you ask any contractor or consulting engineer or any service provider who has done work with Sanral, they will assure you in terms of payment, we are the best. For a lot of the contractors and invoices, we pay within 14 days, not even the 30 days that is mandated. So we are able to support a lot of businesses that we work with to ensure that they don't run into cash flow problems. Where we have seen a challenge is sometimes on the subcontractors that work with main contractors, that sometimes there's a bit of a delay as people wait for certificates to be approved, but we are addressing that. But we can assure you the issue around payments of people and ensuring that it is done on time, we are the leaders in the country, or at least among the leaders.
We know very well that a big one being the fact that Sanral has been in the center of this uproar within the Gauteng province, with motorists just talking about how they would want to see the doing away of e-tolls. We got a commitment from the government, Premier Panyaza Lesufi, saying that on the 12th of April, which is next week Friday, we'll see the official switch off. And this is something that he says has been they've been working on with you guys over time to ensure that it becomes a reality. Give us an update.
So the gazette that allows for the switching of the e-toll gantries has been signed by the Minister of Transport. So the Minister of Transport is actually leading in this process, ensuring that the issues around e-tolls are resolved in a very constructive manner. And we can assure the citizens of Gauteng that all systems are at a go to ensure that the switch off happens. But there will be media briefs that will focus entirely on this particular aspect to explain in detail what the switch off means and the implications it might have on all citizens. So it will be done, and we can assure the public that they just need to wait a little bit for the next media brief that will hold on this particular matter. But that gazette has been signed, and from the 12th, the gantries will be switched off.
It's a waiting game. It's a waiting game. We've had this before of the switch off, but thank you very much for your time, Mr. Progress Tlatla, coming through there from Sanral. And you hear them saying that it's a date on Friday next week, the 12th of April. We'll see an official switch off, but he really made that disclaimer that in the lead up to that, we'll see media briefings from Gauteng and other officials here, but it has been gazetted, and we see them saying that really, when you look at it, they're working and taking stock of some of the developments as well that came through that partnership with government. I'm Katlego Legodi for SABC News in Midrand.